All right, good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and jump into our latest live webinar series at Alibi Security. Again, thanks so much for joining us today. We've got some really good information to cover with everyone this morning, really focused on our Alibi Hybrid Cloud solution. We're super excited to be revisiting this topic with everybody today. And as we dive into our Alibi Hybrid Cloud, we're really going to focus on cloud backup as it relates to traditional security solutions. So we've got our cloud team with us. But before I make the formal introductions, again, just a little bit about who Alibi Security is, if you're not super familiar with us. We've been around the video security and security space for over 30 years. So, we've seen this industry change dramatically over that time, and especially in the last 10 to 15 years, there's been huge advancements in some of the stuff that we bring to market and some of the technology and our traditional solutions. And more importantly, our team lately has been focused on some of these new innovative solutions that help you guys kind of expand your reach in the marketplace and hopefully address new target audiences like cloud-based security solutions, which we're going to cover today. Obviously, we've got our Alibi Cloud VS solution, which we've done a ton of webinars on. You can find those on our YouTube channel. And then today, we're going to be specifically diving into our Alibi Hybrid Cloud and specifically the cloud backup portion of that. But the reason that our product managers and our team really invests a lot of time in finding and developing and bringing these new solutions to market is because we know that it gives you guys the opportunity to diversify who you're marketing to and ultimately to grow your business. And as we think about our mission and our goal and purpose, it's heavily driven by what we hear from our dealer partners and what we bring to market. So just know we're listening to what's going on in the industry, but more importantly, we're listening to you guys and gals out there who are in the heat of battle, selling the security solutions every day to determine what we bring to market. So, we're super excited to be covering some of our newer solutions with you all today. I'm Chris Miller. I'm the Director of Marketing. I'm going to be kind of the host with the most today. A lot of what's going to be covered is going to be covered off by our cloud team. Bryce Brendan is we'll call him our senior cloud specialist. He's been kind of in the cloud space for the longest period of time with us here at Alibi Security. And Jessica's a new addition to the cloud team. And she is specifically responsible for making sure that we deliver the support and training to you guys so you understand why hybrid cloud is meaningful to your business, how to sell it, and then how to service and install it ultimately. So we'll hear from both of these folks here in a little bit as we dive into the key content. And before we jump right in, a few logistical items, right? If you have any questions along the way, again, we're going to try to answer a lot of questions through the content that we're covering in the session. But if you have any questions, use the Q&A feature down at the bottom of your Zoom to enter those. We'll be watching those throughout the session, and where appropriate, I'll kind of moderate and ask Bryce to answer anything or ask Jessica to kind of pipe in with any additional information and answer those questions that pop up. And if not, we'll try to address everything at the end that's kind of remaining, okay? So Q&A session, we're really watching that. We're not really watching chat. So I just want to make sure you guys know Q&A is where you want to enter those questions along the way. All right, so we'll jump in. So when we talk about Alibi Hybrid Cloud, right, it's kind of a broader general term that we've applied to this solution. There's really three key components to Alibi Hybrid Cloud. The first one, and the one we're going to spend most of the time today, is on cloud backup for traditional systems. So this is a really easy way for you as you're selling traditional security solutions. When we say traditional, with a recorder, right, a physical recorder on premise and cameras, to provide some insurance to your customers, right? If there are key areas that they want to cover, and they want to make sure that footage does not get lost or they can always retrieve it, the cloud backup capabilities of Alibi Hybrid Cloud is absolutely something that you guys need to really understand, and more importantly, learn how to sell to your customer base. Because as most of our traditional security solutions dealers know, when you're out there on site, right, and if you're already installing a recorder, This is a great upsell opportunity to add on to what you're currently already selling, to identify for your customers as you're doing a walkthrough, what cameras are most important for them to have that peace of mind that they're always going to have footage available for them, right? And this cloud backup functionality really makes it easy to enable that and to make sure they've got that peace of mind. And the team will go into great detail on that today. The other two pieces are also really, really impactful. We won't spend a ton of time on them, but we'll lightly touch on them. Is the analytics piece. The folks we've partnered with on the solution have an AI engine that operates in the cloud, and the technology really works to reduce false alarms. There have been numerous camera technologies that have come out in recent years that really haven't worked that great, right? We had our initial smart sense witness cameras that we introduced. They had vehicle and human detection. I think we EOL'd those after a year and a half or 2 years, just because they just didn't work that well. Well, this AI engine that Alibi Hybrid Cloud operates through is super smart, super powerful, and really is effective at isolating real events and not producing false alarms. And then the other key piece, which we'll touch on probably a little bit more today rather than the analytics, is the system health monitoring. As when you activate Alibi Hybrid Cloud, you also get some light system health monitoring, which is really impactful too, just so you know if key components in the traditional system go down, which we all know if your customer is not looking at their footage day in, day out, they may not know if something's gone wrong with the system. So this helps give you alerts proactively to know if you need to go out and help your customers troubleshoot that. So three really kind of key parts of what makes our Alibi Hybrid Cloud solution really impactful. And like I said, we're going to have the team really cover the cloud backup piece in depth today, because that's one of the things that we've seen our dealer partners really gain a lot of traction with once they really understood it and they understood why it's important for their customers and how to sell it. So those are the things that our team really wants to cover in depth with you guys today. And we'll go ahead and jump in, and I'll hand it over to Bryce to start talking about cloud backup.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Really appreciate your time as always. Know how valuable it is. Hopefully we're going to give you some good takeaways today. I think before I jump into anything on the actual platform itself, I think, just to give you a little bit of an idea of like why we are so excited about this platform. And it really has to do with it being, it's a little bit unique compared to some of our other, initiatives that we offer, right? So you may be familiar with like our Alibi Cloud VS platform, which is our full cloud platform, or our newer loss prevention platform, like our carbon platform. Those are very much kind of their own beasts and require a little bit more of a lift from a sales standpoint. And one need that we just heard constantly from our dealer base was, we see the value in your other initiatives. We think they're really cool, but we just don't have the calories to spend on it, right? So we got asked constantly, like, hey, we just want something we can bolt on to our, average everyday sale, right? For a vigilant recorder, for example. We just want to have something to bolt on after the fact, change nothing about what we're doing, and get some RMR and actually provide a lot of value for our customers with very minimal effort involved, right? So that's really where a lot of the exciting momentum has been built around the Alibi Hybrid Cloud platform. So getting into the first bullet point that Chris was discussing, the cloud backup, that's really going to be the shining star of this platform. And I think as dealers, you all can understand the value behind the cloud backup, but most end users may not kind of put those pieces together on how common it is to actually lose your mission critical data on a traditional system. So, as you know, recorders and specifically hard drives are by a pretty significant margin the number one failure point on a traditional security system. And then, especially as of late, things like smash and grabs, employees that are getting smarter at stealing things by actually disabling the recorder and then stealing and then plugging the recorder back in, or even more commonly, right, the camera just for whatever reason stopped recording and nobody was aware of it until they went back to pull footage, and then they noticed the camera's been down for 3 weeks, right? Super common call, really unfortunate how often it happens. So these are just a couple of the many scenarios in which you can lose mission critical data that we're really looking to kind of address with this platform. So as far as what the hybrid cloud will do, it's really going to provide your customers an insurance policy, or another way that I like to put it is like it's like disaster recovery, right? So something happens on your system, a smash and grab, a hard drive failure, you know, ISP changes the IP address on you and it messes things up. You know, all these little things that could make your cameras actually lose connection or stop recording. The hybrid cloud is really going to protect you from that. As far as how we actually get it onboarded to a system, it's one of the best parts because it's extremely minimal as far as what you would be adding on to your typical sales process. You're really just adding a couple of steps. So first, the big call out would be you're not changing anything about the systems you're selling from a hardware standpoint. Keep everything the same. This is going to work not only on vigilant recorders that you're selling, it even works on witness recorders that you have out in the field. So you can actually go after your retroactive sales as well. It will integrate just by you putting in some basic recorder information. It's going to actually integrate to the recorder itself and not the cameras. Well, it'll do the camera streams, but you won't be dependent on specific cameras. So you won't be needing a smart sense camera, a performance line camera. There won't be anything specifically on the camera piece that you're going to have to worry about on this. As long as you've got the Alibi recorder, you're good to go. And then it's going to basically take a pretty impressive analytic engine, store events based off those analytics, which we'll show you here in a second in our live demonstration. And again, no additional hardware whatsoever. So this works again on all Alibi recorders. It actually does work on our QVRs as well. New or existing installs. And then as far as what's actually being archived in the cloud environment, you have an unlimited number of those analytic events for a 180-day time frame. So it is pretty robust. And if you think about that from a value add perspective to your customers, most of the time I hear our dealer partners selling around 30 days of storage. That tends to be the average for most people. Well, you figure you're taking 6x times what you would have on your actual physical hard drive. So even if you're not, let's say, super concerned about losing that footage, you can still extend out your footage well beyond what's going to physically be stored on your actual recorder. And then obviously, being a dealer and selling this, you can imagine how easy it can be to get some pretty good RMR coming in with this product. Because again, you're changing nothing about your typical sales formula. You're keeping everything the same, and you're just bolting on an RMR service with really no investment other than a couple extra steps at the end.
So Bryce, a question came in. So we talk a lot about witness and vigilant because those are our product lines. But if somebody's using IC real time or some other recorder or other platform that they want to tap into, what is our capabilities to do that for them?
Sure. So the team we work with on this to build this platform has a lot of integrations out there. So just get in touch with our team with your specific ask and what you're looking to do, because there's a pretty good chance that we can actually get it to function for you. Just get in contact with us and we'll help you out.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things is that with this solution, it is fairly flexible, and that's why it's good to kind of get in touch with Jessica with that question afterwards. She can help chase that down, but we're tapping into the IP address of the recording device, and then we're pulling one of the camera streams. I think it's the RTPS or RTSP stream. Is that right, Bryce? That we're tapping into. So it's kind of common technology or information that we're tapping into outside of the brand or type of recording, because most recording devices operate in very similar fashions, right? So the team that we're working with, to Bryce's point, is adept at letting us know if they've already got an integration with that or how easy it would be to implement that.
Yeah, just get in touch with us, and especially with a lot of major transitions happening in the marketplace, as far as certain companies getting phased out. Let's say like a Hike, for example, right? There's a lot of dealers moving away from Hike. well, if you've got a bunch of hike out in the field, you can actually use this on those recorders as well. So just get in contact with us. It's pretty flexible, and there's a good chance we can work with you on it. So as far as what is actually built in on the actual AI side, right now, really the most applicable detections are going to be archiving humans and vehicles. And I think the big call out on the kind of second bullet there, that it reduces false alarms by 95%. What we're really able to take advantage of with this platform, that's a big improvement over, let's say, just your usual operating system on your recorder, is that AI is all about data, right? It's all about numbers. How much data can we pump into this algorithm to help it learn and become more accurate? So the fact that we're using a cloud hosted analytic means that not only is our system learning from our system is learning from everybody's system. So when you look at a cloud-based analytic versus a device-based analytic, the cloud-hosted analytic will just blow it out of the water. So what it's able to do, because it's so accurate, is that data that's being archived in the cloud environment is going to be very applicable data, and you're really not going to have a whole lot of false positives whatsoever. And the main value of that is when you or your customers are going back to actually access the data, you're not going to be wasting a bunch of time, sifting through garbage footage that you don't care about, right? It should be very applicable. And then as far as the built-in health monitoring, we're building out some more components to this. So it's going to get more robust over time. Right now, the main value is going to be proactive notification if cameras were to lose connection to the cloud for whatever reason, because what we really want to do is make you aware as quickly as possible that something is impacting the recording on that recorder, so that you're not getting a surprise 3 weeks later that you missed an event. And then we're again building some more proactive pieces into that as well, which we'll share when it comes out. So one thing I wanted to show as well is just kind of the process of onboarding a customer's system to the platform. And really our goal with this was to make it so ridiculously simple. We wanted like a third grader to do it, assuming they had the correct information, right? So it's a simple 2 or 3 step process. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tell it, okay, this is either a vigilant box or a witness box. If it's one of those other brands that we were discussing earlier, we'll work with you on that and get another option. But for the sake of alibi boxes, you pick vigilant or witness. Then you're going to click continue. And on the next slide, or the next screen rather, you're just going to put in some basic customer information. So you'll put in the customer email. You can put in company name, your billing frequency, and then really the bottom 3, the sales order, the job name, and the PO. That's really for you guys so that you can understand, hey, this is who we're billing for this service. But once you click, next step, you'll actually put in the information on the device itself, which again, pretty straightforward. You're just going to assign it a name. You can name it whatever you like. You really are just going to be looking to put in the IP address of the camera, the credentials of the box, and then you'll want to put in 2 ports and point those ports to the cloud. So that's going to be the HTTP port and the RTSP port. We are working on getting rid of the port forwarding, but for now, you'll just have to forward those 2 ports. Once you move on to the next step from here, you will actually generate an automatic email to your customer with their login information, a link to the platform. It's a very automated process. So you're not going to have to, write all this down, memorize it all, and then, manually generate an email and send it to somebody. It's a very automatic and pretty easy process.
Yeah. So that setup process, Bryce, takes how long? 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
If you've got the right information, yeah. If the hardest part is like getting the information, right? That's if you send somebody out on site and they don't have the right information, that's really going to be the only thing that delays the install. If you've got those pieces we just shown you, and it'll take you 60 seconds to pump it in and click submit.
Yeah, and again, we're going to overemphasize the ease of this, right? No additional hardware. All you need is some information. and ports the IP address of the recorder, and then you're activating this solution. So it's super easy. So I'm
Awesome.
gonna stop sharing here so you can go ahead and fire up your machine and get the demo going. Okay.
Great. Yeah, so now we'll actually show you what we're talking about. So Chris, you can see my screen, right?
Yep. I can.
Awesome. So again, the common theme is easy, right? So what we really want to kind of paint a clear picture for you guys on is the biggest piece that you're going to want to be accessing on this platform is the actual data that's stored in the cloud environment, right? That's really the insurance policy. That's the main value add. So when you look at it from your perspective as a dealer, you're going to see a list of all of your customers organized by how you want to organize them. So this is going to be your site hierarchy. So let's say, for example, this is one of your customers, Alibi demo sites. Let's say, for example, it's a Domino's Pizza franchise. Well, let's say that Domino's Pizza currently has 2 different recorders in 2 different locations that you're onboarded onto the system, right? So you can create whatever kind of little hierarchy or flavor you want on how you want to actually organize your customers in the system. That's totally up to you. And then really the important piece of this platform is going to be over here on the right-hand side, and it's going to be the events, right? So this is the actual data. So if I wanted to, for example, look at the events for all of this customer's cameras, I can come over here, I can click view events for this entire customer. Or if I want to dial into each box specifically, I can go ahead and pick one, go to the view events, click on it, and then boom, we're in here and we're actually accessing what's being stored in the cloud. So you'll notice over here on the left-hand side, this is going to be the data. You'll notice it'll say vehicle or intruder for now. So this is what's being actually archived for that 6-month time frame based off of those cloud analytics. So this is really the main value. These are going to be your most recent detections. You can obviously come down here and there's some search functionality as well. So you can search based off of what camera you're looking at. You can classify each detection as you look at it as either a false positive or a successful notification. 95 times out of 100, it's going to be a successful detection. And then obviously you can search by date range as well. But really the big thing here is we don't want you to be sitting in here wasting an entire afternoon to find something. Simply just go search for it and move on. And because the analytic is so accurate, you're not going to be sitting there sifting through shadows moving all over the place, trees, flags. I mean, it's going to be pretty accurate detection.
Hey, Bryce, what happens after the 180 days?
Sure. Yeah. So it's very similar to like how a hard drive would operate. So it's kind of like first in, first out. So of that rolling 180 days, you can go and archive from that whatever you would like to. And you can actually do so simply by just clicking, there's a download button right there, right in front of your face when you log in. So pretty easy to see that. And another thing we can do as well is if we want to actually go to a little bit more in depth of a breakdown for this detection, we've also got this alert link button here as well. So what this will do is it'll actually pull up a frame by frame breakdown of the detection. And this is kind of cool because you can actually, really slow it down and get a better idea of what's happening in frame. And you can see here, this is actually, it's pretty impressive with how far away this truck is. You can see that green box identifying that vehicle, no problem, right? So pretty easy. You can also, by the way, share this direct via a link. So you don't even necessarily have to download a file to share this. So if you want to just real time, quick and easy, get on, copy a link, send it to the police, send it to the insurance company, the loss prevention guy, whatever you need to do, click copy link, send people the link and move on. It's pretty easy. The only other piece I would really hit on would probably be another tool that you have at your disposal to make these detections as applicable as you possibly can make them. So we have something in the platform called ignore zones. And really with ignore zones, what our aim is to, really dial down on what we have archived in the cloud environment. So for example, if I were to go to this camera in the driveway, I can choose entire areas to ignore if I'd like to by simply doing ignore motion and drawing on a grid. not too complicated. Another thing I can do that, in my opinion, is a little bit cooler is we can get granular with these detections, and we can actually choose specific analytics to ignore, as opposed to having to ignore everything, right? So we can, for example, go ahead and pick a vehicle detection. And I could draw on, let's say on the driveway here, right? I could actually draw on a specific driveway ignore zone. So I would still receive, I would still store events for people walking in this area, but I wouldn't for vehicles, right? So it's pretty impressive. Actually, you can utilize different analytics on the same camera. And again, really the aim of this is just to get as specific as you possibly can with this data, so that if you do need to go back 6 months later and look for it, it's not going to be, a really complicated process, and you're not going to have to sit there and look through hundreds and hundreds of detections. And really that's the main value of the actual platform, guys. I don't want to overcomplicate it more than that. The big takeaway from this is it is not complex for you to get on here, access this footage that's being archived in the cloud environment, pull it and send it where it needs to go. And this is just running in the background, right? This isn't necessarily what you're saying, hey, Mr. Customer, this is going to take over as your daily operating system. Still have them use their normal app, right? Whether it's Vigilant or Witness. And then this again is really just running in the background as an insurance policy, disaster recovery, protecting them against all those events that could have happened that we discussed earlier, whether it's hard drive failure, smash and grab, employee theft, whatever. And then when they do need to go grab footage from here, it's about as easy as it gets. And I'll go ahead and throw it back to you, Chris.
Great, Bryce. Thank you. Let me get back to the deck here. One of the things that I'd love Jessica just to chime in with after I review this certified slide here is where we're seeing our dealers have success, right? So since she's been in the role, and she's only been in it for a short time, but she spends every day talking with our dealer partners, running demos, demoing for end users, really kind of understanding kind of the pain points that they're trying to solve, right? And she'll be able to kind of fill you guys in on kind of where our dealers are really seeing success. But more importantly, Jessica's a dedicated resource for you guys, right? When we talk about getting certified for Alibi Hybrid Cloud, yes, we want you guys to have a conversation with Jessica. Once you have a conversation with Jessica about Alibi Hybrid Cloud, you're certified. And what that means is that we're going to go into our system and turn you on as an Alibi Hybrid Cloud certified dealer and give you access to tons of resources, not just Jessica, but also some marketing and sales resources that we've already stood up and created that if you're not certified and you haven't had that conversation and we're not comfortable with your ability to sell a solution, unfortunately, you're not going to get access to those. But we've got tons of assets and tons of things that we give you guys access to. And more importantly, the first bullet point, whenever somebody calls in asking about Alibi Hybrid Cloud, if you're a certified dealer, we're going to give you kind of top priority for those leads that come in through our phone system or through our website, right? As people are looking for it, right? We're going to certified dealers first who, we know can talk the talk and walk the walk with Alibi Hybrid Cloud, and they get why it's impactful and how to set it up and install it and service it. And then the most important part of becoming an Alibi Hybrid Cloud certified dealer is really getting access to Jessica, right? She's your dedicated Alibi Hybrid Cloud specialist. She spends tons of time, like I said, on a daily basis, working with our dealer partners, working with our sales team members to do demos. She can do demos for your techs as your techs learn it for your sales team, right? Having your sales team as they're walking jobs, knowledgeable and able to sell this solution while they're on site and making it part of your quote and bid packages is super impactful, right? So anyway, Jess, you get to deal with Jessica, not Bryce. So which is awesome. I love Bryce, but come on. So Jessica, why don't you just talk a little bit about kind of where you're seeing success with our dealer partners and kind of how they're selling it. I think covering some of the sales piece here is really important. Because we pitch this as kind of, hey, you can sell it on the front end of the job, or you can go back to your existing install base. But where are you really seeing that our dealers are seeing success with this right now?
Yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody. So glad you were able to join us. I really appreciate your time. Just want to start off with that. To answer your question, Chris, the dealers are mainly seeing success when going with the new installs. And we say, make this as part of your regular install for every single job that you're quoting out there. And it's as simple as asking your customers, how many cameras do you want to back up to the cloud? It's as simple as that. They will let you know, and let's pick those mission critical cameras to start pushing that data up into the cloud so they can feel protected on a regular basis.
That's it's a great point, right? You make it part of your regular sales process, right? If you're selling an 8-channel recorder, ask your customers when you're on site, walking the jobs, like, do you have any cameras that are mission critical that you absolutely want to make sure you never lose footage on, right? Is there a back door? Is there a loading dock or something that they always want to make sure that, if they've had problems in the past, that they capture that footage and it's going to be there when they need it. Then, it's a conversation starter during the initial consult or the initial walkthrough on the project site. And then it's an easy thing to attach to the quote when you're bidding out the job, right? Then it just becomes really, really natural. Yes, you absolutely have the ability, once you get comfortable selling Alibi Hybrid Cloud, to go back to your current install base. And if you had customers contact you about issues with the system, or really being concerned about not having coverage on certain areas with their existing solutions, absolutely, Alibi Hybrid Cloud is something easy to go back and retrofit into those jobs as well. So awesome, Jessica. Thank you. Hopefully we'll have a lot of people reaching out to you for demos and more information on Alibi Hybrid Cloud after this.
Absolutely. Let me know how I can help, guys.
Yep. So we've got a few questions here that we'll cover real quick. So Bryce, based on the roadmap that we have, is there kind of an ETA on when port forwarding will go away, and we'll be kind of working with P2P or something else that'll go in place of port forwarding?
There's no exact ETA, but it's actively being worked on right now. So we're hoping that it's as soon as possible, obviously, because that's going to provide a lot of value from a convenience and both a feature set standpoint. So no exact ETA, but it's the number one priority on our roadmap right now, and it's the number one thing we're working towards.
Yep, we know it's important. We've been preaching, get it moving away from port forwarding for years now, and it is probably the biggest thing we want to overcome with the solution, because we understand network security is uber important, not only to you guys, but to your customers. So it's definitely on the roadmap. We do have another question that came in. So is there a demo mode we could try out for a period of time? So how do you guys kind of work with dealers who want to kind of try out the solution before they're actually selling or installing it?
Yeah, so I would encourage you to reach out to Jess, or Jess will reach out to you, and we'll walk you through that process. And it's extremely simple to get running on your own system or customers that you're looking to try it on. So yeah, we can do that for sure.
Well, I think that's all the questions we have right now. Hopefully that means that we've done a bang up job in explaining the solution, and that the solution's super easy. I mean, that's one of the things that I think should be most exciting to our dealer partners out there, is that there's no additional hardware. This is really just a bolt-on add-on activation for the solution, and it's easy to kind of upsell or cross-sell as part of the traditional solutions. So all right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody joining us today. Like I said, we know your time's super valuable. It's hard to carve out time for sessions like this. Yes, we will be taking this webinar. We'll be posting it to our YouTube channel for viewing later. We'll be following up with folks that still have questions. And again, go to our YouTube channel. We've got tons of videos. We've got tons of resources out there available for you guys about Alibi Hybrid Cloud and some of our other solutions. It's available 24/7. And more importantly, if you have additional specific questions, call this number and then get in touch with Jessica. She's available. She's our dedicated hybrid cloud solution specialist, making sure that you guys are successful out there in the field. and she can answer any additional questions or clarify any other salient points that you guys may have as you guys start trying to attack Alibi Hybrid Cloud as part of your video solutions. Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody joining. If there's any other outstanding questions that we just didn't get to, we'll make sure we get those over to Jessica and she can follow up with you guys. Okay. Thanks so much for attending today. We appreciate everybody's time.